Hey everybody, welcome to a new episode of A Minute with Marler. I'm your host, David Marler. Thank you for joining us today. We are still at 7th Wave. A big shout out to the guys here in the pre-kit room letting us come in here and shoot this episode today. We're trying very hard not to get in their way, so if I trip over a cart, please don't laugh. Just leave comments. We're going to talk about 3 tips today that we feel like will help make your pick line, your fast track line a lot more efficient. So item number 1, I want to call your attention to the light. So in this particular case, if someone put the wrong product in this slot today, the pickers wouldn't know it because all they see is a number and they see a color. So tip number 1 is to label the front of the light so that the picker can also confirm that the product that's in the slot matches the actual description that's in front of the light to confirm that they're picking the right product. And there's nothing more frustrating than picking 200 or 300 orders a day and they get to the end of the day and find out that a couple products got put in the wrong spot. So let's take a look at tip number 2. So at 7th Wave, you'll notice that they're using carts to be able to pre-kit their orders as opposed to a conveyor. About half of our customers use the conveyors, half use the carts, and each operator will fight tooth and nail that their way is better. Either way is going to make you a lot more efficient. But one of the things that you have to do if you're going to pre-kit with a fast track system and using carts is to make sure the pick line is load balanced. And what I mean by that is you don't want all of the high volume items in one section because that's going to cause a traffic jam with your pickers. If you get a guy that's going to pick 50, 60 items in an order and somebody that's got to pick 25 items in an order, you don't want him slowing that person down. And one way to avoid that is to balance out the load. So you've got a combination of high volume products across the entire line. High volume products are in the middle, the lower volume products are on the top, and your least selling items are on the very bottom, so you minimize the stress on the employee's back as they're having to bend over and pick all day long. So that's tip number 2. Let's take a look at tip number 3. So the 3rd tip that I want to share with you has to do with keeping score. As human beings, all of us are somewhat competitive, and one way to be able to let your pickers know that they are actually working at a pace that is on time is to use our target timer. The target timer uses the metrics that you as an operator set up that you want your employees to accomplish throughout the day picking. It's real simple. When the orders get pulled into the system will calculate when those orders should be done and starts counting down. And as long as they're on schedule, you can see the numbers stay green. As soon as they start to slow down and get behind pace, they go to yellow, and when they're behind, they turn red. So as a team, as they're out here collectively picking, they can monitor themselves and see if they're on time, if they're making progress, if they're gonna be done on time. In a lot of cases, with some very creative operators, there's some incentives for finishing early. So those are 3 tips today that I think if you would apply would help make your fast track, your pick lines a little bit more efficient. So thanks again for checking out this episode of A Minute with Marler, and we'll see you real soon.